They don't spend a minute here. But we know the truth. A lot of people just flee from the city. Unofficially, a lot of them are missing. Ukrainians will not surrender. So much brave, so much sacrifice for the country, for the new generations. In the Russian army, the corruption is enormous. This is a chest with the gold. Now they face this aggression because they are Russians. Could you just, in one moment, leave everything that you have here? Hello everybody, it's Alex Gray, and today we'll talk about news and what happened around Russia, Ukraine, all over the world. So let's start. Our media are so proud of Russian hockey players, Russian tennis players. They're so proud that one of the we have one good hockey player is Ovechkin, and he's very good in NHL in USA, but he lived in USA for almost, I don't know how, 15 years or 20 years. He lived there, he worked there, he played with the USA teams, and they still talk about him, that he's great Russian player and very proud of his as a Russian. But we see that this man just left the country and live in USA pretty good, with no problems, with no this government issues. No, he just lived there, worked there for a good amount of money, much more than he could gain here, and they somehow proud of him. I don't understand that. I understand that he was born in Russia, he was childhood, he was trained here for the early life, but then he just left. And how you could be proud of him and say in all Russian that we have so good player in the USA, NHL, he gained some awards, but this is so stupid. We should be proud of Russian that lived in our territory. If they just lived, he's almost a citizen of USA. How you could be proud of him? This is ridiculous. And about the tennis players that live in Australia, in Europe, the same story. I don't understand. We don't have good players here, so they have to talk about players that lived in USA, in Europe, in Australia. They don't spend a minute here. So I don't think that they should be proud of Russians that they live. Okay, one of the reasons why Russia attacked Ukraine, in our Russian media, we see that they talk about 8 years that Ukrainians was destroying Donetsk and Lugansk, the cities, the people in there, but we know the truth. We know that a lot of people died in early years, in 2014, in 2015. But last years there were several accidents when people died from bullets, but it was only about 5 people last year, in 2021. And this is the reason for Russia to attack Ukraine. But now we can compare these cities that was attacked by Ukrainian for 8 years. We could compare these cities, and we will see that, like Donetsk and Mariupol, you can compare that cities, and you will see that in Donetsk everything is fine. Every building is okay. Every streets, all streets are okay. And we can compare to Mariupol, and it's total disaster. We will see that it's just that the city was destroyed into the dust, and nothing serious left in this city. No industry, no good buildings. A lot of people just flee from the city. And they could, if you compare how much people died right now and there, we don't know exact numbers, but we know about 5,000 civil people that died in Ukraine officially, but unofficially a lot of them are missing, and we don't know how much of them are missing and how much of them will be found. And this number will be much more higher than it's right now. We don't know about exact numbers of soldiers that died, but Ukrainians told about 25,000 soldiers of Russia. Russia told about 20,000 of Ukrainians. We think that this is pretty fair number. We see that people flee from east of the Ukraine, from the north of the Ukraine to another regions, and we also could not know how much of them are missing, so these numbers are not exact, not accurate. We will see that in a lot of months after, what the real casualties of Ukrainian people and in Russian. But in Russian, I don't think that we will have the fair numbers, the true numbers. And of course, we see that Ukrainians will not surrender. They will fight for the last man of their people. And this is I'm not a Ukrainian, but I'm very proud of these people, that they defend their territories so much sacrifice for the country, for the new generations. A lot of them lost their legs, hands. A lot of them will lie on the bed for the rest of their lives. But we see how brave they are. They just want to defend their country, to defend from this terrible Russian government, terrible Russian economy. They don't want to be in Russia. This is they are like rat in the corner that don't have place where to live, and just fight because there is no exit, no option. The only option is to defend the country. So I'm very proud of that. About Russian Ministry of Defense, especially about our main minister. We see that Russian forces cannot defeat Ukrainian soldiers on the territory of Ukraine. We see that more than 2 months left from beginning of the war, and they don't have good success in this war. They have some territories that they conquer, but they would not last for the long. And we see that Russian forces are weak. People don't want to fight. The equipment is not good because so big corruption in Russian army, the corruption is enormous. Russian army is just a chest with gold for corruption, for corruptionists. For example, we don't know what is the price of one tank. What is the price to produce one tank or one warplane? So they just write in the contracts, in the government contracts, this number is just written $2 million, $3 million, but we don't know the exact price of this tank or the plane, because it's not on the market. You cannot buy a tank on the market or the plane. You cannot just go to the shop and see the price of it. No, this price is made by government, and with all this big corruption in Russian army, in Russian government, we know that they could just make the price higher. For example, they just write that the cost is $5 million, but the real price for producing for materials is $2 million. So they just gain $3 million to their pocket and just buy a house in Europe, house in Russia, a lot of cars, mansions, yachts, but they get that money from Russian economy. They withdraw that money that could be spent for another tanks. And of course, there is another option, that the price is $2 million. They spend $2 million, but the equipment on the tank is old, or not this equipment, or just of different equipment. This is low price, and in that option, the quality of Russian forces, Russian tanks, equipments is much lower than it must be in the projects. So this is a chest with the gold. I don't have another examples how to compare this big corruption in Russian army with anything else. So this is one of the reasons why Russian forces cannot defeat Ukrainians, because of the bad equipment that the money was spent. The enormous amount of money was spent for these forces, but the forces are not that quality enough to fight. The people don't have intents to fight with Ukrainians. A lot of Russian soldiers just don't want to fight, and they said that they would not do it. And after that, commanders have to kick out these soldiers from forces to their homes with the papers, with the documents that written that he is a traitor, that he would not want to defend their country, or something different. I cannot recall exact words, but he's a traitor, and he will not able to be in army anymore, will not be able to work in police, in some governments, because he will have this document with these words that will stop from any career in Russia, in Russian government jobs. Russian people that leave the country because they don't want to compare with the Russians, don't want them to be compared with Russia, with all this war, with all this bad government. They lived and for another countries like Europe, like UK, USA, and we see that they suffer from this aggression from native people that don't want to rent a apartment for that people, don't want to give the job for that people. They left the country not to compare with the Russians, and this is what they face when they lived in another countries now as Russians. So this is not what they flee for. You should not blame them to be Russians. They leave the country. They don't want to be the face of the country. This is why, and these people are the first to blame for, because this is the kind of people you see in Europe, in other countries. Russians who fought war, who won this war, the Russians who encourage the war are here in Russia, and you should blame them, but not those people who lived in another countries. Some of them lived 10 years, 20 years, and now they face this aggression because they are Russians. How could they change that situation? They flee from that country to the better world because they could not live here. They could not They could not live with that thoughts that they encourage this aggression, that they give taxes to this war. No, now they are in different countries. They still have Russian documents. Some of them are not, but they were born in Russia. So you should not blame them in other countries. People who against the war are good people. They should not be blamed for all this aggression. For example, I live in Russia. I do not encourage the war, the aggression. But I don't want to leave this country because I like this country. I like the people that around me. I love my wife. I love my parents. My friends. They are all against the war, and if I just left the country, what I will do? I will not have friends, will not have parents, will not have love there. But we cannot leave this country altogether. This is unreal that, I don't know, 100% of Russian people just go to another countries. No, there no possibility to leave. Some people don't have money. Not some. A lot of people just don't have enough money, don't have enough possibilities. Some of them are with big ages, like 50, 60 years old. How could they leave the country? No, they will live here no matter what. They will live in bad economy, but they will not leave the country. I think you could compare that to your country. Could you just in one moment leave everything that you have here, all the apartment, your equipment, your parents, your job, and immigrate to another country where you don't know what to do, don't know the future? Just think about yourself, how you could handle that. So don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and watch other videos, and goodbye.